we go. There we freaking go. Not Thanksgiving, but a lot to be fucking thankful for. Right now, having two sets of perfectly working hands are what you can let me get a nasty ass fucking forearm pump. And then probably a touch of calves. And the only reason I say that is because, if your Instagram reels are as, let's just say, not safe for work as mine, and you saw the aftermath of all the July 4th antics. Damn. Stay safe out there. But plan for today, I kind of doubled up last week, did 2 back days in a row just because I felt like it. But for real, my back is well developed. I want my arms, I want my legs, I want my chest to reach the same level of development that my back has. That's why I don't do shoulders. My shoulders are big enough relative to the rest of me. You know, if you put me next to Marcus Rule, my shoulder is going to be half the size of his. But for my own build and proportions, I gotta put some more focus and energy into not accessory work, but into my weak points. Bringing up my arms, legs, chest. That's really what I'm focusing on here. So today's a bit more of a chill day. I mean, I'm not gonna be dying tired after 4 sets of fucking, you know, forearm curls and reverse forearm curls. That won't be the most exhausting thing in the world, but it is going to have some solid fucking results. My forearms didn't always, well, of course they always did. They didn't have the girth they have now, but excuse me. But my forearms didn't just develop randomly out of nowhere. Some guys, I never worked forearms, man. They've got a fucking, real ass set of them too. But that's just not kind of my history with them. So for a long time, what I would do is on my arm days, I would have my kind of routine for a long time was triceps first. Actually, I was kind of doing a superset style thing for a while. So what I would do is I'd do a set of triceps, a set of biceps. I'd have a minute rest period in between, like normal, and then I would do a set of reverse forearm curls and a set of like squeezing forearm curls, be it a cable, dumbbell, whatever. And I would do that loop, 8, 10 times, whatever. So push down, curl, then both sides of the forearm. But even when I didn't do it in a supersetting kind of way, on my arm days, I would still add forms, just in the end of it, right? But in no way would I just expect the stimulation from like rowing to be enough to seriously fucking develop my forearms. You're not wrong. In doing heavy back movements, your forearms are going to come into play by holding onto that weight, but it's just an accessory to the actual movement. That's like if I was to say I'm going to rely on my chest training to build my triceps. Well, because my triceps are coming into play when I do chest, so they're getting worked. I don't think they're getting worked enough, you know. So at least from my perspective, I can say with pretty fucking solid amount of emphasis and real meaning, if I want my forearms to grow, if somebody wants their forearms to grow, direct forearm work will fucking work. Like if you got your dominant arm, I can almost guarantee that your forearm is bigger than on your non-dominant arm because that dominant one is getting more work more frequently than the non-dominant one. So that's a direct translation of more activity resulting in more growth and stimulation. So, do I think you need a forearm day programmed into your workout split? Maybe not. Maybe not specifically a forearm day, but it wouldn't be bad. If you're going to do a rest day, I would not be too hesitant to just turn that into a forearm day for sure, because this isn't going to be the craziest workout in the fucking world. I'm going to throw calves at the end of it as well, but direct forearm work, I think that's the way to go. And anybody that discuss in the comments, every time I have a forearm day, or when I do forearm and calves, the comments are always filled with the dudes who say like, well, I've never worked my forearms. I do back day without straps. And I mean, I get it, if your forearms are developed as much as you want them to be, then good for you, man. Your truth has been lived. Doing back with no straps worked. But I kind of, at least for me, that feels like I'm kind of, it feels like I'm dulling my sword instead of sharpening it. For me to do a back day with no straps, I don't suddenly feel like I'm limited by my grip strength. You know, my forearms are not weak. I should get a little forearm grip tester so we can actually get some real measurements here. But, you know, I'm not suddenly limited by my grip strength, but I can tell when I'm doing my sets of pull downs and rows that once I get closer and closer to actual failure, at least of my lats, traps, and everything else, I'm going to start to use my forearms more and I'm going to start to rely on them in a way which I don't think is like perfectly stimulating for my forearms and is taken away from my back training, you know? Because you've pretty much got three parts of your forearm. Like if you were to butcher shop separate your forearm into like its key fucking components, you've got all this shit down here responsible for your gripping ability and this kind of curling action, right? That's kind of this whole bottom piece. And then the backside, right? All this kind of fanciness, that's meant for opening up your fingers and like extending your hand backward like that. And then there's this chunk over the top, which is kind of what comes into play when you do like hammer curls and things like that. So it's actually kind of responsible for like literally bending your arm. It comes into play with your biceps. So, you know, that ends up coming into play a lot if you're doing back no straps and you're suddenly now sending all sorts of signals to your fucking hands like, okay, keep pulling. You're inadvertently just going to start using your, like, even just look at me, like I'm going to pull myself towards the steering wheel. You can see this back part of my forearm fucking start firing. That's not what I'm trying to do, you know? In my mind, I want to fucking concentrate all the signals coming from my brain directly into my lats and keep everything else totally unfucking related. So I guess that's just sort of my 2 cents there. But I think if you're the type who knows I want to see some more forearm development in my build specifically, I think spam some of these movements right here and get after it. You can throw them in at the end of literally any workout too. I mean, this only adds time. This does not add much like exertion, you know. Like for me to do a lift where I did I don't know, let's just say I did chest, shoulders, which I don't really do shoulders, but let's just say, and then I did forearms at the end of it. You know, adding forearms doesn't make that workout that much harder. It would make it a little longer, but it's not so like damaging to your whole central nervous system that you're not going to be able to do it well after a full weight training session for whatever muscle you just hit. So, kind of same thing with calves, you know. As long as you know you're not in a huge rush, I'd say throw some forearms, throw some calves in every so often, and you should start to see a noticeable change. At least as long as your diet matches a weight gaining a fucking approach. No more chatting. Let's just get started with some forearm extensions for the back part. These fancy pants fibers and everything else. Don't take much. And honestly, I'll probably just record this one set, maybe another one, because it really is just like 7 of these in a row. There's not that much to see. But my kind of logic is I want to start with the more chill side, just the back. Because honestly, once this kind of meaty part of my forearm is really pumped up, it's kind of hard to even do these little like reverse forearm curls just because of how much blood and like tension is pulling my hand downward. Because I don't know if you've ever had a real forearm pump, but it gets tricky to even seriously open up your fucking hands all the way. If you know anybody who's a rock climber, they know what I'm talking about. The pump extends beyond just weights. They're constantly fucking battling getting a forearm pump. But I'll sit here for a couple. Just moderate control, nothing. There's no need to ego lift these, and then we can move on to the kind of cooler side, the actual fucking forearm curling, and not just extending. Oh my God. Okay. So repeat that 5, 6 times until your forearms are pretty much cooked. And then move on to step 2, the fucking curling part. We'll just show the one. Imagine that just 6 more times. Oh, God. Okay. Okay. That was the 5th set. I'll do a couple more and then move on to just heavy dumbbell curls right here. I mean, you'll see in a second. So yeah, I ended up doing 7 sets of those 20s. It really doesn't take much, at least not in terms of weight. Like if you've never done those, I'd even just grab the 10s. Because if you do it, get the top, hold it for a second, burn, by the time you get like 20 reps, it's going to be hard to even get a complete rep. But the back of my forearms are now fully pumped. So I'm going to transition to the strong side. These kind of actual fucking like, what would they be? Extensors and forearm flexors. You get the gist. But I've kind of warmed up. 40s, 50s, 60s, now 70. Basic premise. Sit as such. Get a firm hold of whatever dumbbell you're doing. Hanging off the edge of the bench. And then just fucking pump out reps, you know? Don't, I've seen some guys do this. Don't like, I mean, at least the way I do it. I'm not going to let the weight like roll down my fingers and then I like squeeze it back up. I feel like that's a little extra. Nothing wrong with it. I'm just not a fan. I'd rather just get a firm grip on the dumbbell and just do this movement. Here to here. That's the range of motion. So a few sets like that, then maybe move on like cables or something. You know, we'll see. Boy. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. Wow. Let's up it to the 75s, but let's keep going. Oh crap. Wow. Okay. Oh God. Oh, no more with that much weight. Let's drop to the 50s for like 2 sets, then do some cable shit. Jesus, dude, 75s are fucking heavy. Okay. One more. Okay. All right, let's do some cable shit now. Plan now, single arm, moderately heavy, and then same thing as with the dumbbells. Nothing fancy. Just sit here, kind of lock in a position, arm wrestler style. Just that. And the burn you'll get combined with the pump you'll have, it'll speak for itself. Don't worry. Oh, I got it. Okay. Oh. A little lighter, gonna squeeze a bit harder on this one. Yeah. Oh, fuck.
Oh my god.
Oh. Okay. Let's do a double arm set with a straight bar. Oh my god. Whew. One more. Last one. Come on. No. Okay. Drops that. Okay. Holy shit. Let's find some lighting. Forearm pump. Done. There we go. All right. Forearms are now fully pumped to the point where I cannot even like touch my shoulders. That's usually the sign of a good arm pump, but a forearm pump as well. I mean, that's fucking fine by me. So let's just see how they look actually relative to the arms. That's not nothing for sure. It's we're not there yet. Not there yet, but that's still a pretty fucking freaky shot. Let's see, what are we thinking on the right side? Actually, is the right side freakier or less freaky? It's hard to say. But let's see if we can get a breath hold. Oh wait, I forget which side is vein here. I think the right side. Let's see how the right side's looking vein wise. Oh, that'd be fucking perfect. I'm talking no need to look for the vein when getting the blood drawn. But yeah, I mean, you got to think all your forearms do. Oh, that's not true. But in a basic sense of like mechanical loading in the gym, all your forearms are doing is this and this. So pick those movements, fucking spam them, and then before you know it, you'll have your first fucking forearm pump. Which, if you've never had one before, I gotta say, you are freaking missing out. But let's transition from upper appendages to lower. Do some calves instead of sitting around and waiting, because I want to do some calf raises on the leg press machine. That's honestly when I end up using the leg press the most. It's taken though. Guy only has one more set, so instead of sitting around waiting, let's do a set of calf raises here, just kind of to start. Light, only one plate for a single leg. And with this machine, the pad for my feet to sit on is at like a weird angle, like it's kind of cambered to the point where it kind of makes me want to. Sometimes I like doing it sort of sideways like this. For simplicity's sake, I'll just keep it classic today. Oh god. Yeah. Oh yeah. Alright, I lied. One more of these. This actually feels pretty good. Oh yeah. Okay. Now let's do some heavier shit. On a machine leg press. Oh, I guess normal leg press. I'll just show one. It's getting closer and closer. I don't want to dilly-dally too much. But a few sets here. I just love single leg, man. Fucking, when I try to do calf raises with both legs at once, I think it's just because I have an imbalance in my shins or whatever. But I always feel the right one more. So if I do one at a time, it just lets me load it a little more evenly. But single leg everything, reasonable squeezing, you know the deal. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. A few more. But for you, you can cut some post out. So there we go. Let's get a little calf zoom in and see how they're looking. They felt pretty fucking pumped. I did ended up doing 3 more sets of those single leg hammer strength leg press calf raises. I kind of like those more. The machines where you like the machines where you really get into it and you're standing like this. I've never been a crazy fan of those. It just doesn't really do it for me. Whereas sitting on the leg press, that really lets me fucking squeeze hard. So how are they looking from the back? You tell me. There should be a couple veins in there if I'm well, they certainly feel pumped to the point where I know when I'm going to get in the car, sit down for what, like 20 something minutes, and then stand up again, I'm really going to fucking feel them. But come on. If you're already going to skip cardio, are you seriously going to turn it into a triple whammy by skipping calves and forearms? Yeesh. Not ideal. But let's get out of here. We're done. All done. All freaking done. Accessory day complete. And I wouldn't even say accessory day. That was just a solid ass fucking lift. Though it may not be the most frequently hit among the lifting populace. Oof. Yeah, fucking. Even just sitting here now, like flexing my calves, I can feel them burning. Oosh. Something about the lighter squeezing sets, man. You know, does some serious damage. You know, it's like I feel like 2 people would beat me in a fight. Right? Somebody who's just much bigger and stronger than me, that would be like a nasty, brutal set. Or somebody who's much smaller than me, but with like pinpoint fucking precision, you know? So, what I mean by that is like a light squeezing kind of burning set where you're really like in tune with exactly what you're doing at every moment in the reps, you know? So, don't get too attached to one idea over the other. I feel like somebody who does only light squeezing sets, they're missing out on the mechanical tension of a really heavy set. And then somebody who's more inclined to do like all heavy shit, they're missing out on that fucking burn, stretch, and kind of pump factor from the lighter stuff, you know? I think an even mix is pretty much right about where it's at. That's kind of what I've been locked into for a little while. There we go, now you can see me. So, all I gotta do now is go home, have a steak, do 2 packs of instant rice, potentially some treats in between, I'm certainly not anti-treat, but the majority of my meals for the last few weeks have been, you know, actual sort of bodybuilder style. I'm talking oatmeal, I'm talking rice, I'm talking potatoes. The protein's never been a problem because I mean it's kind of a no-brainer, right? You gotta aim for your highest quality protein sources. But slamming like 150 grams of oatmeal, carb wise, I just feel so much fucking better, you know? And not in a sense of like my performance in the gym is better, but it's not a massive just hit to my blood sugar like 150 grams of you know, pure sweets are, right? So don't worry, this bulk is getting a touch cleaner, but the volume, the calorie load, that is going absolutely fucking nowhere. Because that's what's going to be the primary driver of my fucking gains, man. So this morning was 254, and that was after yesterday of driving all day, so a little bit lighter than expected. But I would say probably 2 weeks from now should be about 260. That'll be the new like baseline body weight in the morning. We just go from there, you know. It's kind of weird. I feel like a lot of the I feel like I had more stuff to say when I was dieting down because I was getting so excited about like really locking in for the bulk. But now that I'm already locked in, I mean, this just kind of feels like business as casual. But that has most certainly not always been the case. It's taken a freaking while to get to the point where I actually know what I'm doing, dieting wise, reasonably, training wise, and everything else. And the reason I say I've got a good grasp on it is because I have absolutely no doubt in my fucking mind that I'm going to be able to get the muscle gaining goals, this bulk that I'm aiming for, if not more than I even expect. And the only way that would happen was if your underlying kind of supporting infrastructure of your diet, you know, training, sleep, recovery, everything else, hydration is on point, you know? So I've been saying this a lot, but if you're making gains, keep doing what you're doing, go hard, get excited about it. That's killer. But once you've plateaued, you know, once you've gone that month, 2 months, 3 months with no strength changes, no size changes, no nothing, you're just fucking the same lifter you were last year, something's got to change. Something has got to change. More than likely, that would be diet wise. That's kind of the biggest stimulator of plateau breaking that there is. Could be training intensity. Could be training intensity if you're not seriously pushing it and giving yourself enough stimulus to actually, you know, induce recovery. Not that this is an awesome example, but if you put your hand in warm water, it's not going to do anything to you. Your body doesn't need to say like, oh shit, I got to recover from this, because the water's only a little bit warm. You know, it's not doing any damage. Whereas if you put your hand in fucking boiling water, you have now stimulated your recovery process to say, holy shit, man, you just fucking hurt yourself. Now, of course, you know, doing a fucking tricep workout is not a forearm workout is not like getting first degree burns on the whole entirety of my forearms, but it is the same in the sense that I now have a stimulating response from that workout where the rest of my body is like, dude, you gotta fucking recover this shit, man. Your forearms just got wrecked. You got lactic acid buildup and every other stimulator of hypertrophy that there is, you know. So that's my body's priority over the next few not few hours, like few days, is to take all the food and all the calories and all the rest and the recovery that I'm going to get and use that to deposit a touch extra muscle mass, increase the amount of sarcoplasm and everything else I've got in my forearm fibers, and in a more basic sense, have my forearms come back bigger and stronger. Same thing with calves. Same thing with every fucking muscle, you know? So that's all I gotta say there. Forearms and calves, complete to satisfaction. So, oof. What are we halfway through? Halfway through summer now? I'm totally out of the school year mindset because I'm all done. But shit, man. Didn't you say you were gonna lock in this summer? What happened? It's already been like pretty much 2.5 months. Where are the gains at, man? You said you were gonna hit Planet Fitness every fucking day. You know, it's got a free membership for high schoolers. What's going on here? So, I'm sure that may have hit home a little bit too hard for some of you. But don't forget, the passage of time stops for no one. So try your damnedest to capitalize on it when you know that you can. the last thing you want to do is fast forward 5 years, 10 years, however many years, and think to yourself, holy crap, I probably should have spent those years doing something a little bit different. Whoops. Inaction is, I would say inaction is probably far worse than wrong action. Because at least if you make some mistakes and some fuck ups, you get to learn from them. You know, if you don't do anything, you just kind of stay comfortable. You got to be the guy who has to deal with the thoughts on the regular of, oh man, what could have been. You know, get that membership. Do whatever it is you're thinking about. Because odds are, if you don't, you know, your pattern of not doing it is very strong. You know, if you were a gambling man and somebody showed you like a guy who has been saying he's going to go to the gym, and then you showed that he has not gone for 5 months straight. You know, this guy, let's say this guy says, oh, dude, I'm going to the gym, man. Serious. I'm gonna lock in. If for 5 months straight this guy has not actually locked in, what are the odds that suddenly that's gonna switch on one random day? You know, it's not fucking likely. And unfortunately, that's the fucking state of that's the state of being of an unfortunately large amount of fucking potential lifters. You know, you gotta any lifter, any lifter has serious fucking potential to make some crazy fucking gains. But it takes a while. It takes a while, and it takes some confidence to get that started. So unfortunately, a lot of guys just it's a little bit of a failure to launch, you know. So well up some pride, well up whatever it is you got to do to get excited. Ask one of your buddies who works out, have him bring you along, do a little tag team workout. You will not regret it. I can say that for sure. But plan now is to go home, start the recovery process. I gotta find a new show to watch, and then we've got RBA tomorrow. Woo! So I'll see you then.